to lesson 8 in this module 3 where we're looking at negative keywords. Now in the previous video we looked at what a negative keyword is and how to find something. Now we know how to find them and we've made a list of them. Let's get them implemented in our campaign. So the first way we can do this is something called campaign negatives. What does a campaign negative do? Quite simply, it's a negative keyword that works across your entire campaign. So imagine the word jobs. You do not want anybody who's looking for jobs in your campaign to show ever. So if you have 5 campaigns, you have to implement this in 5 individual campaign negatives, one for each campaign, but you don't need to implement it at the ad group level. It's a fairly efficient, fast way of doing this. Let me show you where you can do this. So if I come into our ad campaign, I'm on the doors campaign here, I'm in my keywords. If I scroll down the keywords tab right to the bottom, I click on negative keywords with little plus sign, and on the right hand side of the screen I've got campaign level. So I can click on add and I can add keywords and I can add jobs, careers and anything else that's relevant in my campaign, and I can click save. I can copy paste the list from somewhere else. That's done. So that's a campaign negative. I would repeat that process for each campaign that I wanted the negatives to be in. My next option is an ad group negative. So let's think about this. In this case, if I have a doors campaign, I have an ad group for wooden doors, I have an ad group for UPVC doors. Now, what I will want to make sure is that in my UPVC group, I don't show wooden door keywords. In my wooden door keywords ad group, I wouldn't want to show for UPVC keywords. So by doing it that way, you get control. If you can avoid ad group negatives, avoid them. It's much easier to manage on a campaign level than it is an account level. The only time you do it is when you specifically want to make sure that keywords in one ad group do not get triggered by keywords in another ad group. It's that intermanagementing of different ad groups. So you would only ever want to do it if you were excluding from one ad group in a campaign specifically, but you still wanted that keyword to show for others. So in mine, if I had a wooden doors ad group, I would want to make sure I showed for all wood related keywords. In my wooden doors, I would want to make sure that I did not show for that in my UPVC doors ad group, therefore I would put them in as negatives there. That's the only real time you should use them. They can be fiddly, difficult to manage and time consuming. To do them, if I come back to my screen, here we go, same screen as in before, negative, I can add ad group. So I need to choose an ad group, I say bifold doors. So in fact, let's choose composite doors, and let's put in here wood. Notice that I'm putting these in as broad match, so I could equally have put in wood as a negative. My preference is always go the broadest you can. I don't want wood or any variation of wood to appear in my campaign, so I'm putting wood as a broad match. I would also put it as wooden as a broad match. I'm avoiding using phrase or exact because I would then have to go through every single combination and find them. So I'm going to add those into my campaign. And I'm now going to have a look at the final way to do this. And this is the most efficient way to manage negative keywords. It's called a keyword list. Now, a keyword list can be applied to many campaigns at once. So the idea is you have one central or several potentially centralized lists of keywords that you want to use as negatives, and take each list and apply it to many campaigns. That way, your lists are all controlled from a single point. They apply equally across all campaigns, and they're things you will never show for. Be careful. You need to make sure that you think this through properly. You can't do what I've just done with wood and wooden and UPVC, because that would apply across every single campaign. If I'd got wooden doors that I sold as well as UPVC, and I'd got wooden in a keyword list that was applied to all campaigns, they just simply wouldn't show. So you need to make sure that your keyword lists that you use for negative keywords, that those lists, when we apply them as a list, apply universally across your campaign. Anything that's specific to one campaign only or one ad group only, do at the campaign level in the way that we've just done. So what I would tend to do is things like competitors, things like geography that we don't want to target, things like job related, I would always put as negative keyword list and apply them across all my campaigns. The exception being the competitors one, which I wouldn't put against my competitors campaign. So let's have a look how to do this. Come back in here. If we come into shared library, as we scroll down, we can create campaign negative keyword lists. So I'm going to create a new list, and I'm going to call this list careers. And I'm going to put in here things like jobs, hiring, and so on. You'll notice I'm using broad match again. You can use any match type that you want, and I can save that. If I now go back to my competitors list that I made a few moments ago, when we were doing the last video, I'm going to do a competitors list. So Finglass, Keen and Carlson. So again, another list, so we'll call it competitors. And add that, again, using broad match throughout. If I can then choose a campaign, choose one of these keyword lists, choose which campaigns I want to apply it to, and I can apply it to each campaign in turn, so it's applied to as many or as few campaigns as I wish. For that, I'll select all. I'll click save. Done. That's how we do that. We can actually do the same if I go back to my campaigns a moment ago. I scroll back to where I was before at the bottom looking at this keyword list. You can also do it over here as well. So if you now look here, keywords list, careers has been applied. And I can add other keyword lists as well from this interface as well. So you can do it in both places, it doesn't really matter. So that's how we do it. So with that being said, go away and implement keyword lists in your campaign and have fun with it. By now, you should have a kick-ass keyword list ready to power your AdWords campaigns. Don't underestimate the value of building your keyword list with such strategic intent. What you have just done will set your campaign apart from your competition and put you in great shape to dominate your market. Now, you need a highly optimized account structure to hold your keywords, and that's what we're going to build in Module 4. What's more, I'm going to show you how to avoid all the sneaky traps that Google puts in your way to get extra wasted money from you.